Hey everybody, I thought I'd bring you along on my little social distance hike here. Don't worry, my new friends and I were definitely maintaining our distance. I think there's at least 6 feet of earth between all of us. Anyway, why am I here in a local cemetery? Well, it's to present to you the end of spoken word play, not of no. This is our final episode of Spoken Word Play Laughing in the Dark, and at first I just want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us for all the previous episodes, as an audience member and as a performer. We are so very appreciative of it. It fills the void where my heart should be. Tonight's episode is really something special. We have 4 performances, 2 poems, one performed by our wonderful artistic director Cynthia Charles, and another one chock full with 27 cameos of TSS All-Stars. It's going to be a great episode. And plus, we're tackling the one thing that everyone is afraid to make fun of: the end. So, without further ado, welcome to our final episode of Spoken Word Play Laughing in the Dark. And I am proud to present to you our first piece, The Gashlycrumb Tinies by Edward Gorey. One of my favorites.
A is for Amy, who fell down the stairs.
B is for Basil, assaulted by bears.
C is for Clara,
who wasted away.
D is for Desmond, thrown out of a sleigh.
E is for Ernest, who choked on a peach.
F is for Fanny, sucked dry by a leech.
G is for George, smothered under a rug.
H is for Hector, done in by a thug.
I is for Ida, who drowned in a lake.
J is for James, who took lie by mistake.
K is for Kate, who was struck with an axe.
L is for Leo, who choked on some tacks.
M is for Maud, who was swept out to sea.
N is for Neville, who died of ennui.
O is for Olive, run through with an awl.
P is for Prue, trampled flat in a brawl.
Q is for Quentin, who sank in a mire.
R is for Rhoda, consumed by a fire.
S is for Susan, who perished of fits.
T is for Titus, who flew to bits.
U is for Una, who slipped down the drain.
V is for Victor, squashed by a train.
W is for Winnie, embedded in ice.
X is for Xerxes, devoured by mice.
Y is for Yorick, whose head was bashed in.
Z is for Zilla, who drank too much gin.
Ugh! That was all terribly morbid. But it was good to see all of you again. Hang in there, sweeties. Can't wait to hug you.
Hello there, my name is Robert Dunt, and I am dying. You know, I was just like everybody else. I thought it could never happen to me. Healthy 25-year-old male, don't drink, don't smoke cigarettes, 8 hours of on and off sleep, eat occasionally, no extraneous or really any exercise, don't do a lot of uncool drugs. Poster boy for the modern man. I really didn't even know what was happening until one of my friends made a post saying that they were literally dying. I was like, oh my God, are you okay? What can I do? And they said, yeah, I just laughed really hard at this meme. You're dying when you laugh at something really hard. And I was just like, oh my God, that's horrifying. So I shut myself off from all forms of comedy. You know, I didn't want to risk that. I was really lucky because I never laughed more than a chuckle growing up. You know, one of the kids in my neighborhood came up to me with his friends and said, hey, you want some up, dog? I said, what's up, dog? Then they all started laughing hysterically. I had no idea what they were talking about. He never answered my question. I realize now that it must have been a suicide pact, because I haven't seen those guys since middle school. You never know what someone's going through until it's too late, right? I locked myself away for months, not leaving for any reason until I knew things were safe. Serve on food, I only ate the bare minimum to meet my daily nutritional requirements. Almonds are a superfood, so I was eating about half of one a day to keep up my strength. The human body can also last 3 days without water, so I was making sure to drink 1 glass every 2.5, just to be safe. I thought I had taken every necessary precaution, until one day I was playing with my cat, Harriet, and she was cleaning her crotch, really going to town, and she farted. I had never seen or heard anything that ridiculous in my entire life. I had no idea cats could fart. Like, that just sounds absurd. And right in her face like that? There was no way I could have been prepared for that moment. I couldn't breathe, I laughed so hard. I mean, how stupid do you have to be to fart in your own face? I lost a lot of respect for Harriet that day, that's for sure. Eventually everything just went black. I thought for sure I was a goner. By God's good grace, I came back around. But I knew I wasn't the same. I felt very weak, my stomach hurt, and I had a horrible cotton mouth. I knew right then and there that I was literally dying. I was pretty upset at first. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh no! I don't want to die! Oh no! Where the goddamn is that fucking cat? I can't go on. I don't want to wins it. I don't know. I've never had to deal with anything like this in my life. You know, this isn't what I thought when I woke up today. My cat of 9 years is gonna betray me like this? Gosh, darn, how that hurt. Oh, that's gonna bruise. Doesn't matter though. But then I remembered what my friend said when I asked if they were okay when it happened to them. They said yeah. They were okay. That strength they had to get through something so debilitating was so inspirational to me. At that moment, I decided I want to live my life to the fullest. So I'm doing all the things I used to do, but now I wear a crown while I'm doing them. Because what's anyone gonna do about it? Kill me?
A while after the apocalypse, somebody somewhere developed an app for finding other human beings with throbbing penises and squishing vaginas nearby. That's what the description said, anyway. Many of the first user reviews took issue with the term squishing vaginas. So the developer changed that in version 2, I think, to just dripping. Anyway, that's what eventually got me away from Tedeschi's, because I was looking for penises and vaginas, and this app told me that there were some nearby, so I started to explore. The first penis I found didn't look very clean at all, and not just in the post-apocalyptic sense, but in a more of an overall kind of way. Definitely wasn't the same penis as in the picture either, but I had a drink with it. It was perfectly polite, talked about movies and stuff, although this penis had never seen a single Coen Brothers movie, which, I mean, hello, you know. Next penis I met was pretty chill. We laughed a lot, but unfortunately there was no sexual chemistry. Third penis was pretty much the best looking penis I ever met. Circumcised, although I know that's a whole thing now, so whatever. Good shade of pink, well trimmed. This one made me really start to feel like maybe things could be okay again. Like maybe if I just held on tight to this penis, I mean, maybe things would start to make sense again. Things didn't work out though. Next closest on my app was a vagina. The first vagina in miles. It was a pretty lovely vagina. I think we had a great time, but at the end of the date, I looked up and realized that the vagina belonged to Eleanor Roosevelt. She blinked at me and was like, "So, my place or yours?" I blinked back. "Eleanor Roosevelt," I said. I thought you were dead. And I really, I don't want to go into the whole thing, but basically, Eleanor Roosevelt was pissed that it took me the whole date to realize that it was her. She accused me of only viewing her as a vagina because otherwise I would have recognized her, etc. Anyway, so yeah, Eleanor Roosevelt slaps me and walks out. And I go back to my chair and drink the rest of the night alone. Oof, you know? As more people started using the app, it became easier and easier to find penises and vaginas to have sex with. Some conversations did have to be had, and some think pieces had to be written about how the the humanization of sex organs was going to work now that the world had ended, but, that seemed only natural. Eventually, I was attending post-apocalyptic orgies on pretty much a weekly basis. And then, at my 17th or 18th orgy, something happened. It was going fine at first. As fine as you'd expect an orgy could go after the apocalypse. And then a young gentleman with some peculiar features tried engaging with me in a sexual nature, which would have been fine, except that his hands were pinchers. His mouth and anus were perfect circles of razor-sharp teeth, and where his penis should have been, there was instead a crooked, scaly, thorn-covered protrusion with an angrily undulating suction cup-like vortex at the end. This really was a pretty sex and body-positive space as far as post-apocalyptic sexscapes go, but to be honest, I was pretty put off by all this. And this gentleman a few times tentatively tried getting one of his parts to interact with one of my parts, but in a super uncomfortable way, I kept squirming out of these arrangements while also trying to remain super polite, but the politeness wasn't enough. I could tell that this young man had been having this exact experience all night at this orgy. He looked confused, frustrated, sad. And I felt confused, frustrated, and sad along with him. I wanted to reassure him, but I also didn't want to get hurt. What could I do? And as my brows frowned their way through this quagmire of a question, a few other attractive bodies descended on me. The gorgeous man started penetrating me from behind. A beautiful woman in front of me invited me into her with a soft, sultry moan. And a third person and a fourth started gracing my neck and face with their slow, gentle, intentional lips. And this all felt so good, as you would imagine, but there was this young man still nearby, shuffling his feet and basically being kind of a downer. And then, while most of me basked in the glowing, sweating heap of ecstatic intermingling of flesh, one small part of me observed another small part of me reach out from under this mass of bodies and touch this young gentleman on the arm. He looked up and we made contact. I found myself loving this young man with my eyes, and I invited him without words to come closer. Reluctantly, he did. I was only vaguely aware of my sex partners as they noticed him and dismounted me, politely retreating to the other side of the room. The young man stood in front of me, shame swelling up around the edges of his eyes. I smiled at him. I put my hands on both his arms, moved them up to his shoulders, touched his face. I circled around him, allowing my fingers to graze the parts of him that felt safe. We spent the rest of the night standing there, a peculiar pocket in an orgiastic space, him trembling, his eyes closed, me being more aware of my own hands than I'd ever been before. Gentle, massaging his back.
Anecdotes on endings. 1. I'm 5 years old. I walk hand in hand with my mom down Caton Avenue. I point and ask, "Mommy, what's he doing?" She looks at me, then unfortunately she looks at where I'm pointing. A distressed pigeon frantically spins in circles with his head turned downward. My distressed mother frantically pulls me away, saying, "Don't look at it, sweetie. I think it might be dying." We walk away. The pigeon continues spinning. 2. At 6 years old, the show Law & Order teaches me that breaking and entering is a crime. This knowledge inspires more questions than Jerry Orbach could possibly answer. I enter the bathroom and I ask, "Mom, we don't have a chimney. How does Santa get into our house if we don't have a chimney? Isn't entering through the window breaking and entering? Isn't that a crime?" My mom flushes the toilet, washes her hands. She pensively looks at me through the bathroom mirror, braces herself, and says, "Nikki, Santa isn't real." I reply, "Oh, okay." I leave the bathroom, curiosity satisfied. My mom breathes a sigh of relief. I learn that Santa is based off of St. Nicholas, who is a real nice man from the past. In December, I explain to my friends at church what I have learned. Santa is dead. They cry. My mom asks me to keep this knowledge to myself going forward. 3. I'm 8 years old. It's a beautiful, summery Sunday afternoon on 5th Street. Bright blue sky, trees shimmering in the sunlight while providing that nice, crisp shade from the sun rays. Kind of day. Miyazaki film level scenery. The kind of day fit for interrogating the Sunday school / piano teacher about the ethics of hell as we walk towards the church. I ask her, what if someone who had never heard of Jesus was on their way to church, where they would have been saved, but then they got shot in the head on their way to church and died? Are you telling me they would go to hell? How is that fair? Miss Jenny has no answers. But she does have water balloons. 4. I am 11 years old. It is 6:00 p.m. I sit at home in our dimly lit kitchen at the table, which is flush against the left wall. On the table in front of me is a bulky paper bag that holds our family's dinner. Chicken cutlet parmesan. The bag radiates heat and the promise of a good meal. To my right, my dad unsheaths a pint of Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey out of the plastic bag he acquired from the corner deli. He suggests that we bring the pint over to Lenny. Lenny is our next-door neighbor, a man in his early 60s who acts as my dad's home improvement guru / drinking buddy. My dad figures a pint of ice cream will be a nice surprise since he's been home for a couple of weeks due to a leg injury. We step over to the adjoining porch and my dad knocks on the door. Lenny's daughter opens the door and guides us in through the narrow foyer. My dad shows her the ice cream and explains it's for Lenny. We enter the living room. I see people throughout the room. Some are weeping. Some are leaning into each other. 4 people, 2 on each side, frame Lenny. He gasps for air. Someone takes his hand. His daughter thanks us for the Chunky Monkey and puts it in the freezer. Epilogue. I'm back in the kitchen, staring at the plate of chicken cutlet parmesan in front of me, and I doubt I should eat. And I know I'll feel this again and again. I know that I will question the sanctity of moving forward when an ending is unfolding so close to me. But to bear witness to another's ending requires continuing. So I eat, and I continue.
Hi, my name is Tyler Barton, and I'm going to share a few poems not written by me, but written by residents of Hamilton Arms Center, a long-term care home in Lancaster City. I started a 12-week workshop with a group of 9 residents there back in October. The workshop ended in mid-February, just before COVID reached the facility, and it has since done incredible harm there, causing deaths of many residents, including members of my workshop. The book I'll be reading from is an anthology of pieces they wrote over those 12 weeks. It's called The Berries Belong to Everyone, which is a line from one of the poems in the collection. And the book was part of the workshop and part of the grant. It's kind of like the culminating project of the grant was to publish a collection of their work. I hope you like what you hear, and if you do, I'm going to be mailing these out to people who make donations to the local Meals on Wheels program. So to learn more about this, you can email me at tylerstephenbarton@gmail.com. Stephen is with a V. Or message me on Twitter or Facebook. Okay, so the first piece I'm going to read is a short poem by Jean Lewis. It's the final piece in the book, and it's my absolute favorite. It's called Where I'm From. Jean Lewis. I am from Fairfield, a village full of special people, a general store full of all the good things kids like to eat. I'm from Estella and Paul. I'm from a house over my father's garage, the smell of gas and oil. From a locust tree full of white flowers that looked like snow on the ground. From a church on the hill that called my name. Eddie got his toes cut off in a lawnmower, and I drove him illegally to my parents. Ruth, my best friend, still is. And then I want to read a couple pieces that are part of a series. So one of the workshops, I showed them the painting The Scream by Edvard Munch, and everyone wrote kind of like in response to that. So I'm going to read a couple of those responses. I think they show kind of like the depth of the different kinds of writing that was going on in the workshop. So each one is called On the Scream by Edvard Munch. This is by Herbert Cubby Spees. She's screaming because she sees a wreck at the end of the bridge, a car wreck. It could almost be anything. At the end of the bridge or at the edge of the bridge, it could be a man or it could be a woman. It reminds me of Columbia and the skinny bridge along the railroad track. You could walk along the side of the track over the bridge, getting very close to the track. One day I was walking over that bridge and I heard the whistle, and I thought it was far off, but the wind was blowing so hard against the train that it was blowing the sound backward. So it turned out the train was closer than it was, much closer. A freight train. As it passed me, it was 10 inches from my shoulder. If the boxcars had had a wire or anything sticking out, it would have caught me. It would have dragged me along. I believe there was a guardian angel above us, or on the train, or maybe 20 feet off from the bridge. This is the response to The Scream by Linda Cooper. He is screaming because of the helicopter crash. He can't get any closer because of the heat wave. We should move away. And then this is a response from Jim Dean. Despair with the volcano in Hawaii. And then this is from Jean Lewis. She screams to her family on the shore who are hard of hearing. She wants them to come out on the bridge and view the beautiful sky, and the bridge reaching out into the water that resembles a hand. She is not screaming from fear. She only wants her family to see what a beautiful sight she has seen. And then lastly, this is from Judith Myers. She is stuck and does not know which way to go. She can go into the water or this lovely path. She's lost her wig in the water and is covering her ears because she cannot stand the sound. Thank you.
The Children's Hour. Between the dark and the daylight, when the night is beginning to lower, comes a pause in the day's occupations that is known as the Children's Hour. I hear in the chamber above me the patter of little feet, the sound of a door that is open, and voices soft and sweet. From my study, I see in the lamplight, descending the broad hall stair, grave Alice and laughing Allegra and Edith with golden hair. A whisper, and then a silence. Yet I know by their merry eyes they are plotting and planning together to take me by surprise. A sudden whoosh from the stairway, a sudden raid from the hall. By these doors left unguarded, they enter my castle wall. They climb up into my turret, or the arms and back of my chair. If I try to escape, they surround me. They seem to be everywhere. They almost devour me with kisses. Their arms about me entwine, till I think of the Bishop of Bingham in his mouse tower in the Rhine. Do you think, oh blue-eyed banditti, because you have scaled the walls, such an old moustache as I am is not a match for you all? I have you fast in my fortress, and will not let you depart, but put you down into the dungeons in the round tower of my heart. And there will I keep you forever. Yes, forever and a day, till the walls shall crumble to ruin and moulder in dust away. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. Good night, Zoom. Hi there, Cynthia Charles here, Executive Director of Theater of the Seven Sister. We hope you've enjoyed our 5 episodes of Laughing in the Dark by Theater of the Seven Sister. If you missed one, you can always catch them on our Facebook page. A very, very special thank you to all of our writers, actors, our board, and special guests, and a huge, huge shout out to Josh Dorsheimer and Barry Fritz for putting it all together. We couldn't take it on the road. We're still here, and we could use your support. You may donate money to Theater of the Seven Sister by visiting our Facebook page or our website. Or you can donate by liking us on Facebook or sharing a post or coming out to see a show when we can all do so safely. Next up will be Penthesilea, a play of epic proportion by Tyler Rossi, date to be determined, and an encore performances of The Matchmaker, a tale from Emma by Jane Austen at Rockford Plantation, COVID willing. Be well, be considerate.
Thank you.